Hello history lovers and mystery seekers, welcome back to our channel. Today, we're journeying back in time, deep into the sands of ancient Egypt, to uncover a puzzle that has left archaeologists speechless for decades. We're not talking about Tutankhamun's tomb or the Great Pyramid secrets. We're talking about something far stranger, a discovery that challenges everything we thought we knew about one of Egypt's most powerful pharaohs. In 1912, the renowned German Egyptologist Ludwig Burchard was excavating at Amarna, the short-lived capital city built by the heretic pharaoh Akhenaten. Amidst the ruins of a sculptor's workshop, his team unearthed one of the most iconic artifacts in human history, the bust of Queen Nefertiti. But just a few feet away, they found something else, something far more perplexing. It was a life-sized, painted limestone head, equally masterful in its execution, but depicting a man. An older man with a shaved head, deep-set eyes, and pronounced wrinkles. Who was this mysterious figure? The workshop belonged to the royal sculptor Thutmose, so this had to be someone important. For years, the identity of this Berlin head, as it came to be known, was a complete enigma. Some scholars speculated it could be a priest, a high-ranking official, or even the sculptor Thutmose himself. But the realism, the almost brutal honesty of the portrait, was unlike anything seen before in Egyptian art, which typically idealized its subjects. The man looked weary, burdened by responsibility. Yet wise, the sculpture felt intensely personal, as if capturing a private moment of a very public figure. The mystery deepened. Why would such a realistic, almost unflattering, portrait of an unknown man be created with the same skill and materials as the divine Queen Nefertiti? The answer, when it finally emerged, was more shocking than anyone could have imagined. Through painstaking comparison with other, lesser-known statues and inscriptions, a radical theory began to take shape. The key lay in the unique artistic style of the Amarna period. Akhenaten had revolutionized not just religion, but art itself, demanding a new, naturalistic approach. Could this aged, careworn man be none other than Akhenaten himself? It seemed impossible. We're used to seeing Akhenaten with his elongated face, slender neck, and wide hips, a very distinct and stylized image. This realistic portrait of an aging man seemed a world away from the divine pharaoh. But the evidence became overwhelming. Other fragmented sculptures found at Amarna showed the pharaoh in a similar, realistic style. It appeared that Akhenaten had two distinct artistic traditions running simultaneously. One was the highly stylized, almost alien-like propaganda art for public monuments, depicting him as a divine being. The other was a deeply private, realistic style, reserved for the inner court. This Berlin head wasn't just a portrait, it was a window into the soul of the man behind the myth. It showed Akhenaten not as a god, but as a mortal man grappling with the immense weight of his revolutionary vision. It revealed his age, his stress, the toll his radical changes were taking on him. This dual representation is the baffling puzzle. Why would a pharaoh who claimed to be the sole intermediary between humanity and the sun god Aten allow himself to be depicted in such a human, vulnerable way? Traditional pharaohs were always shown as eternally young, powerful, and perfect. Akhenaten broke this 1,000-year-old rule. This suggests a level of complexity to his personality that we are only just beginning to understand. Was he a megalomaniac who also possessed a deep sense of self-awareness? Was the naturalistic art a private reflection, a way for him to see himself without the divine mask? Or was it another form of propaganda, meant to show his inner circle a different kind of strength, the strength of truth and realism? The implications are enormous. It forces us to reevaluate everything we know about the Amarna period. It wasn't just a religious revolution, it was an artistic and philosophical one. Led by a man of incredible contradictions, Akhenaten was simultaneously a divine king and a mortal man, a public icon and a private individual. The sculptor Thutmose, working under the king's orders, was tasked with capturing both realities. In one corner of his workshop, he crafted the ethereal, perfect beauty of Nefertiti, representing the divine promise of the new religion. In another, he carved the raw and varnished truth of the king who started it all. But the puzzle doesn't end there. After Akhenaten's death, his city was abandoned, his monuments were torn down, and his name was erased from history. The traditional gods were restored, and Egypt tried to forget the heretic king. This realistic art style vanished as quickly as it appeared. It would be over 1,000 years before artists, during the Greek and Roman periods, would again dare to portray rulers with such unflinching realism. Akhenaten was a man so far ahead of his time that his vision couldn't survive him. The discovery of this head in Thutmose's workshop is like finding a photograph in a world of paintings. It's a ghost from the past, whispering a truth that his successors tried to silence. So, what does this 3,000-year-old head truly represent? It represents a secret, a private truth hidden within a public revolution. It shows us that history is never as simple as it seems. The pharaohs were not just stone-faced gods, they were complex human beings. Akhenaten, the heretic, the revolutionary, was also a man who, at least in the privacy of his court, was willing to face his own mortality, his own imperfections, and have them carved in stone for eternity. It's a baffling and beautiful contradiction, and it remains one of ancient Egypt's most profound and personal mysteries. What do you think? Was Akhenaten a self-aware visionary or a master propagandist controlling his image in different ways? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for joining me on this incredible journey into the past. If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next historical adventure. See you next time.